Last year, the system built to make sure your money never stopped moving. The Federal Reserve's new FedNow system failed before it even launched. And here's the part that should make you uncomfortable. You probably don't carry cash anymore. Almost nobody does. So what happens when the digital promise fails and the physical backup is already gone? You're picturing a hacker, a shadowy figure draining your account overnight. That's the Hollywood version. The real threat is quieter, and it's already happened to you. Think about the last time your card just didn't work. A declined transaction, a frozen app. You blamed a glitch, a bad connection. But what if it wasn't? Here's the gap. You fear losing your money. The real danger is losing the ability to use it. Your balance is safe, perfectly intact, but the network between you and it, gone. The authentication system, the merchant's internet, the bank's core processor, any link breaks, and suddenly your money is a number on a screen you can't touch. That's not a scare story. It's a Tuesday. You tap your phone to pay for coffee. It works. You feel secure. But that feeling is built on a lie. Over 80% of your money moves as digital signals now. Your paycheck, your mortgage, your car payment, they all flow through one giant pipe. And that pipe? It's the same one your card, your app, and your bank all rely on. You'd think having multiple systems would be safer. It's not. They're all connected. Wait, think about that. Your financial life is a single thread. What happens when it snaps? You're at the grocery store. The card reader flashes red. So you try the ATM down the street. It's dark. Here's the catch. The ATM network isn't separate. It's the same digital system. That cash inside the machine? It's just data now. Unreachable. So you check your wallet. How much physical cash do you actually carry? The average is $67. That's your entire financial lifeline. Your local grocery store. It looks normal. Full shelves. Bright lights. But here's the thing you need to understand. That store only has 3 days of food. 3. And the trucks that restock it? They run on digital fuel cards. A payment crash stops the fuel. No fuel, no trucks. No trucks, no food. Wait, think about that for a second. The system doesn't slow down. It just stops. But it gets worse. Your paycheck. It's not a paper check. It's a direct deposit, a digital signal. If the outage hits on a payday, that signal never arrives. Your rent is set to autopay. Your car payment. Your electric bill. They all try to pull from an account that suddenly has no money. The fees start stacking. The defaults begin. This isn't a theory. It happened in Canada. A national payment network went down for days. People couldn't buy groceries. They couldn't access their own money. So ask yourself, how much cash do you have in your wallet right now? Enough for a tank of gas? A week of groceries? What if that's all you have? The first week is just noise. Panic buying clears the shelves. Your cash is stuck in a dead system. And then the quiet hits. Credit card companies break out these old machines, zip-zap devices. You'd think that's a lifeline. But here's the problem. By month 1, your town starts rationing, like a hurricane hit. Your streaming services, they just stop. That bill for cloud storage, gone. The property tax payment you scheduled online, it's frozen, and your city starts to break. Wait, think about that for a second. By month 3, it's a full recession. The supply chains reroute. They go to the giants. The small shop on your corner, the one that knows your name, it fails. 3 times faster than during the pandemic. And here's what nobody tells you. After a year, you're living in 2 economies. The old digital one and a new one. Cash, barter, favors. Your neighbor with the generator and the gold coins, he's the new bank. Are you ready for that? You think this is about convenience. It's not. Cash costs banks money. Printing it, moving it, guarding it. Every digital tap you make creates data. A fee, a record, and a record can be monitored, taxed, frozen, with a single click. The system wasn't built to be strong. It was built to be efficient. For them, that vulnerability, it's not a flaw. It's a feature, because it makes you dependent on the very people who control the flow. They even war-gamed this collapse, not to prevent it, to manage you when it happens. So what are the smart people doing? The ones who saw this coming? They're not panicking. They're preparing. Step 1. They're pulling cash, not $100 in a drawer. They're calculating 3 months of rent, groceries, gas, and they're keeping it at home. But here's the catch. That cash is for the first wave. What about after? Some are dusting off old technology. Credit card imprinters. Those zip-zap machines from the 80s. Carbon paper slips. You'd think that's paranoid. Except small towns hit by hurricanes already do this. And here's what nobody tells you. They're not trusting one bank. They have an account at the big national bank and another at the local credit union. The logic? Different systems. One might fail, the other might hold. Wait, think about that for a second. Your survival plan is betting on which computer crashes last. Then it gets physical. Some are converting a slice of savings into silver coins, or ammunition, or premium whiskey. Not to get rich. To have something universally tradable when digital numbers mean nothing. The final step is the most drastic. The experts in supply chains? They're moving. Not to bunkers, to towns with local farms, strong community ties, places where the economy might run on trust, not transactions. It seems like overkill. Until you remember your money is just data, and data can disappear. The real crisis isn't the empty cart. It's the quiet realization that your money isn't a thing you own. It's a permission you're granted, a service, and that permission can be revoked by a line of code. Your purchasing power, your credit, your ability to act, it's all just a subscription. When the system that grants that permission fails, who do you become?